Hi, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking specifically about how to create ad copy that converts. So this is going to be the 6th video in my series for Facebook beginners. So this is a Facebook marketing playlist that I'm going to put together. It's essentially a mini course that I'm releasing for free that talks about how to get results, how to use the platform, and the basics essentially of advertising. So this is not going to be for people who are extremely advanced. This is more just for people who are starting out and are beginning in terms of either running Facebook ads for their clients or Facebook ads for themselves in their own business. So there's a link in the description to the playlist where you can watch the entire series as I release more videos and the ones that I've already done. We cover everything from how to install Facebook Pixel, set up your business manager. I've tried to go through everything step by step so that it's the most comprehensive version of something like this that you can sort of watch in order to start marketing online. In this video, we're talking about ad copy. So in the previous video, we talked about ad creatives, which is arguably one of the most important factors and something that we really look to improve upon and to engineer quality ad creatives for our clients, because ultimately that improves the results dramatically. But today we're going to talk about the ad copy, which again is something that's extremely important and something that you need to leverage correctly in order to get results. So what is your ad copy? Essentially, it's going to be the text that goes with your advert. So when you're running a Facebook ad, it's going to be the copy that goes above and below the image or the video. Here you can see the different types. I'm just literally Google image the word Facebook ad creative, and you can see here you've got a few different types. So you've got the copy that kind of goes up at the top, then you've got the ad creative, and then you've got the call to action and the headline underneath, okay? And what we're going to be doing is looking at the ad copy today and how to actually produce ad copy that's going to work extremely well. So there's a few things to do. Firstly, I like to do competitor research, same as I do for ad creative. Now, I'm not going to actually show you the process of how to do it because it's the exact same, except what we're looking at is the copy rather than the creative. And I showed this process in the previous video. So what I'd do is I'd watch that video on the ad creatives, and that's going to show you my process of using the Facebook ad library and a few other tools to do some competitor research and see what is working potentially and what isn't, and get some ideas and inspiration. So I'll leave that, again, just click the video link in the description and you can go and watch that and then come back and watch the rest of this video. Let's get into actually creating ad copy. In terms of what I've seen work well, a lot of people are going to say, okay, you could only run short copy. Short copy is the best thing, or long copy is the best thing. Ultimately, both work well depending on your business. Now, if I could choose one or the other, I do typically leverage shorter ad copy. I've seen more results with this. Yeah, people's attention spans typically are getting shorter and shorter over time. So something that's a bit more concise and to the point will work well. If you're marketing a product that does not need explaining, and we're going to talk about different stages of awareness in a second, but if you're marketing a product that people are already quite aware of, you do not need to list every single thing about the product. Instead, keeping it short and concise, selling the click and getting them to go through to your website is going to ultimately produce better results. I've not seen long copy work as well in that format. However, it's important to test both, okay? So it's not always about, there's no sort of rule specifically that says short copy is going to perform better. You need to test both and see what works well and let the data drive you in the right direction. Don't kind of just make assumptions based on what someone on YouTube is telling you in terms of short copy or long copy. So just keep that in mind. But as a rule of thumb, if I could only choose one, I would keep it a little bit shorter. Now, just for completeness, I do want to mention that for some of the businesses that we market, we do leverage long copy more consistently than short copy. And the reason why is because for that business, their value proposition needs to be explained in a way that kind of introduces the problem, it kind of exposes it, it talks about why they're different. There needs to be a lot more going on for someone to even click. And that's due to, again, the type of value proposition, the type of business and the type of offer. So it's very different to, let's say, a company that's just selling an e-commerce product that people are already very aware of and have seen other competitors marketing. If you're selling shoes, you don't need a massive paragraph about everything to do with shoes. You can keep it short and sweet and people are going to click. Versus if you're let's say a business development coach and you're talking about a very specific problem that business owners are having, it probably needs to be a little bit longer so that you can actually hit on those pain points and they can realize why your value proposition is different to the rest of them. So just keep that in mind. So I want to talk about a couple of things. Now, these concepts come from the book Breakthrough Advertising, which I'd recommend you look into if you're interested in ad copy at all. There's some great books out there. This is just one of them, but it does talk about some key points that I want to talk about in this video. So the first is the stages of awareness. So when you're thinking about writing some ad copy, it's important to understand where your prospect is at in terms of their stages of awareness. So there's 5 that Eugene Schwartz, who's the author of the book, talks about. So the first stage is unaware. So they're completely unaware of the product, the solution, and potentially the problem. This could be, let's say my computer is slow, but I'm not aware of it. It's happened over time. I don't even know that my computer is slow by comparison to other computers. I just think it's the norm, okay? So I'm not aware of it. And it would take someone showing me, hey, look, your computer is really slow. I can do everything 10 times faster for me to even become aware. So in that instance, I would be completely unaware of the problem, okay? The second is problem aware. So I know that my computer is slow. I just don't necessarily have a solution to it, and I'm not necessarily looking for a solution for it, but I am aware of the problem, okay? So if someone presents a solution, I'm going to be somewhat interested. The next is solution aware. So I know that there's other computers out there that are quicker, and my one's slow, so I understand that there is a solution, and I understand essentially what the solution is. The next is going to be product aware. So I know, for example, if I buy a brand new Apple laptop, it's going to be a lot quicker than my old Apple laptop, and I know exactly which one I want to buy. I'm product aware. The fifth stage is most aware, which essentially means they're right on the brink of purchasing the product or service. They know exactly what it is. They just potentially need some incentives, like a price discount or something else, to push them over the line, but they're very, very aware, okay? They're right on the brink of transacting. So again, I recommend that you research this more in your own time. I'm just giving you a very brief overview. The book Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz is a great resource that I recommend reading and looking into. So those 5 stages of awareness, the way that you market to people is going to be different. Okay, so if someone is completely unaware, or they are problem aware but they don't know the solutions, you need to communicate with them, and the style of copy that you're writing needs to reach people where they're at, and it needs to bring them to the next stage down, okay, and consistently bring them to the next stage down until they purchase. You do not want to market to someone who is very product aware talking about their problem, okay? If you take someone who's very product aware, they know exactly what they want, they know the solutions, and you're talking about the problem and you're trying to make them problem aware, they already know that. They don't need that. However, if you're talking to someone who is completely unaware about a product and you're talking about some of the features of the product, they might not necessarily even know it's the right thing for them. So again, your ad copy needs to be contextual to where someone's at, based on their stages of awareness. And this is a great kind of way to approach the marketplace. If you have a product that's completely new, something that's quite fresh and it doesn't exist currently, you're going to need to educate your potential customers as to why they need it. And this could be a service or a product, and you need to go more in depth as to benefits of it, but also you need to make them aware of your business, your product, the problem that it solves, versus if you have something that everyone is selling, you don't need to do that, okay? People know why they need clothes, they know why they need shoes, they know why they need food. The reason why they're buying it from your company is not because you're making them aware that they need to eat. They're buying it because you're either offering some sort of discount, some sort of incentive, better quality food, better customer experience, things like that. So that's going to be why they're buying from you versus from a competitor. And that's just an important thing to keep in mind. The next stages of this is to touch on some marketing psychology. So I will do future videos on this. It's kind of beyond the scope of this to go into this into too much depth. Again, these principles come from Breakthrough Advertising, so I'd recommend that you look at that as a resource. There's a few different marketing psychology elements that we can kind of pull on that are going to help people resonate with potentially buying your product or service. So I'm just going to list a few. The first is different stages or different steps of agreement that they need to kind of take. So the first one is beneficial nature. So they need to understand that there is a benefit to purchasing your product or service. The next is attainability. So let's say you're marketing a business development course. They need to know it's attainable. Like, can you actually start a business and grow it? Or is this something that is just completely far-fetched? The next would be possibility. And again, these are general and personal. So if you're looking at the possibility, is it possible for them? In their circumstances, can they start this business that you're promoting a kind of course to educate them on? Is it something they can actually do themselves? Is it going to be something that has possibility? The next is timing. Why is now the best time to pull the trigger and do this? Why is now the best time to take out a life insurance policy? Why is now the best time to buy a new table? Why is now the best time to start a new business? What is it about now that's the reason why they need to do it? This is a big one. One that I personally think is one of my favorites is failure is not their fault. Okay, so why past failures are not their fault. This is great if you're promoting a course or some sort of education product, because typically people, or a large percentage of your potential customers, will have gone down the route of trying other competitors. So what they're going to do is they're going to maybe purchase another course in the past, or they're going to have tried to do something on their own and they failed at it. So what you want to do is you want to explain why past failures are not their fault. So it makes sense and they can justify in their head why this is different. Okay, and that's actually ties into one of the last ones, which is why this is different. Okay, and those two work really, really well together. So when I'm doing email copy for any of our business development or coaching program clients, or writing ad copy even, and these can apply again, not just to the ad copy, and the words you use. These can apply to the ad creatives and the videos that you're marketing, so the actual words you're saying. This applies to everything, okay, not just the written copy, just to be clear. But you want to really explain why the past failures are not their fault. You can give reasons, and you can combine that with why this is different. The next is appropriateness. So again, why is this appropriate for them to take action on, and why is this the right thing, basically. And there's a few more sort of emotional manipulators that you can leverage. And again, manipulation sounds like a bad word, but it's not. Essentially what you're doing is you're connecting with them where they're at, and you're then helping them find a solution. If your business offers a genuine positive solution via a product or a service, it's actually good for you to put that in front of your clients or your potential clients and encourage them to purchase. That's not a bad thing. And I'm just gonna list off a few here. So we've got lust, escape, esteem, fear, guilt, affinity, greed, anxiety, worry, impotent, poor sense of self, excessive concern over what other people think, and victimhood and paranoia. So these are all different emotions that we can leverage, all right? So again, if someone has a lot of fear or a lot of guilt around something, we can absolve that and we can solve that problem for them via the product or service. If someone has a lot of anxiety around something, or they've got a lot of persistent worry about something as well, or poor sense of self, maybe your product is about personal development. So if they have a really poor self-image, they have very low confidence, that is an emotion that we can then leverage in terms of marketing to pull on and to help them solve that issue. And that's going to be something that they really want to solve. Okay, so again, these are all things that we can add in terms of the ad copy. So when you're writing your ad copy, what I like to do is I like to highlight certain parts, certain words or phrases or paragraphs, so that I can then relate it back to some of these different elements that I've spoken about in this video. So lastly, I want to talk about some tools. You're going to see a lot of this recently and going forward, a lot of AI copywriting tools. These can be powerful. Now, what I like to do, again, if you're really drilling into the advertising psychology when you're writing your ad copy, a lot of these platforms are not necessarily going to pull in a lot of that. Some will, some won't. But I do think it's worth showing you some tools that you can leverage for writing ad copy and at least getting first drafts and or ideas. Sometimes the hardest thing can be to actually get a first draft, or to shorten down your ad copy if it's too long, or to kind of tweak it and to create some different variations. So using tools can really help with that process. And what I like to do is I like to use some of these tools initially, and then I will take some of the ideas and versions that they've created and I'll tweak them myself to include some of the stuff that I've mentioned earlier in this video. So one of the biggest ones is going to be ChatGPT. This is a platform you can go to. If you go to chat.openai.com/chat, it's going to load up here. You can literally ask it to write ad copy. So I could say, write 2 Facebook ad copies for UKB Marketing, which is our advertising agency, to promote a free month of Facebook ad services. Okay. Now this is not the best brief. I'm literally just writing this. But then what it's going to do is it's going to immediately write 2 variations for me. Some are going to be good, some are going to be bad. I can say write another 2. I could say shorten them down. I could say write them in 1,000 words, write them in 500 words. Essentially, what it's doing is it's immediately creating some variations that I can pull from and some ideas. I could also say write 5 Facebook ad copy ideas for a marketing agency. There you go, immediately it's writing some, okay? So it's very powerful. This can be used for ad copy, it can be used for headlines, it can be used for body copy, it can be used for landing page copy, emails, everything, okay? So it's really powerful. Like I say, it's not the best. I wouldn't rely on this only, but it's also silly to not take advantage of these tools which are out there and can speed up the workflow dramatically. So there we go, we've got 5 copies or 5 ideas straight away done that we can start to pull from, all right? Some are good, some are bad. Another tool is going to be copy.ai. It leverages the same type of infrastructure in terms of being an AI copywriting tool. You can try some of these out for free. Some of these follow really good frameworks in terms of how they actually write copy. So they will, they'll do problem, solution. They'll kind of go through different frameworks that they know work well. So again, it can be really, really good for getting ad copy. The other one is Jasper. So Jasper.ai, again, is another copywriting tool that you can use. And again, these have free and paid variations. It just depends on kind of how much you need, what you're looking for. But you can try a lot of these out for free, which are great. And again, they can be really, really powerful. So I'd recommend looking at some of these just to speed up your workflow in terms of writing ad copy. So that brings me to the end of the video. Hopefully this has been valuable. Like I say, the key takeaways are try and leverage marketing psychology where you can. Read books that are going to help you with this process, like Breakthrough Advertising, which was some of the concepts that I spoke about in this video that I pulled from that book. And again, there's plenty of others that are really, really good to start reading and to start learning from, because that's going to help you. Practice writing ad copy. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. and leverage some of these tools like ChatGPT, Copy.ai, and Jasper.ai as well, because they're going to help you speed up your workflows. In terms of long or short copy, both work well. What you need to do is focus on the messaging and understand that different companies, different brands are going to need different lengths of copy to communicate that, and focus on that side of things rather than limiting yourself to only a certain amount of word count, because I don't think that's going to really help you. So with that said, thanks a lot for watching the video to the end. There's the link in the description to the full playlist of videos in this series. There's also a link if you want to work with me and my agency, where you can book a call. We can handle all of your paid media buying, your ad creatives, your ad copy, your email marketing, everything from click through to customer. If you're interested in that, like I said, click the link. Please drop any comments in the comment box, like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much.